welcome to another episode of the UnPop podcast. I am your host, Kevin Miner, he, him. Not with me, as always, is my chef and co-host, Odie Matthews, they, them. They are currently in Florida, I believe, and then they are embarking upon a very special trip. They are actually testing out how many flights they can do with Frontier without getting forced to pay for a bag. I highly recommend that you check out their YouTube channel. Odie Matthews has been reviewing bags pretty much since I've known them. And it's just been really cool to see that develop over time. We obviously have this podcast now. We have some plans for the future, some different episodes that we can do. There's going to be lots of adventures for Odie and I. They've become one of my best friends. We interact on a weekly basis, so much so that it's almost weird when we don't talk for a week. On that, I think I should probably just say thank you, Odie, for asking me to do this. I know that we're not putting out an episode this week, but I do feel like Odie deserves a thank you. They went out of their way to ask me to do a podcast with them. They knew that I wasn't doing the Upstate Coffee Collective podcast with our good friend Matt anymore. Matt and I were just kind of too busy to do all of the things that entailed running Upstate Coffee Collective, which was a great time. And it definitely showed me the ropes and taught me a lot of things that I didn't know how to do, and brought me to the point where then Odie could come along and ask to do this. So I'm super happy that we've been doing this for a whole 0 seasons. Moving forward, we will continue that trend. There will be 0.5 episodes here and there. There will be different segments. I've decided that I'm going to call this segment an Upkeep because I'm a huge Magic the Gathering nerd. I've been forced to reconcile with that after about 3 years of getting back into the game. I played as a kid, and since I've been back into it, I don't think I recognized how much I was into it until I started teaching other people in my life how fun it could be, how expressive it could be, how it could be a component of both a hobby and a way to connect with other people and a way to express yourself. It's so many different things for me. To the point where I feel like this should be called an upkeep, which is part of a turn that you would take in Magic the Gathering. So very fitting calling this an upkeep in that it's kind of just my turn this week. That's really about it. I'm not going to have a super long episode for you guys. I really just wanted to come in and talk about how grateful I am to be working on this podcast with Odie. Just really kind of express, that's it. Like, express some gratitude, have something positive for your week. It's a little hard to be funny without Odie around. I didn't prep any stand-up material or anything like that. So, I guess I could do a quick, I could let you know like what I've been up to, on my own consumption of material, things like that. I have been actually delving big time into the One Piece anime, which is amazing. I know a lot of people have an issue with animation as a medium for their entertainment, like as the style of media that they might consume. It's hard for some people, but I honestly think that animation in general, it lends itself to much more imaginative scenes because there's so many things that you can do in animation where I think the level of disbelief, that like suspended belief, is already like inherent to it, you know? So it's just more fun. I know a lot of people like might hear that and go, well, live action is fun. And yes, live action is fun. I think I might, maybe it's just my inner child connecting with the medium itself, but I love watching animation, and One Piece has been an awesome journey. I'm way more into it than I thought I would be. When I first started watching it, it was a little hard to get into, and then I kind of have come back to it a few times over the course of the past like 3 to 4, maybe 5 years. I'm still under 100 episodes in, but now that I've gotten to, I think I'm at episode like 89 as of right now, and that's out of the 1,000 plus episodes that exist for this show. I'm definitely in. I think there's a lot of really good messaging. I think the characters themselves are highly independent. They all have goals. They all have dreams. They all have aspirations. They have things that create an inherent level of drama and tension that it's important for just good storytelling. And I think that would be my overall review. Is just like, it's good storytelling. The characters themselves, like, I feel like no matter who you are, you can kind of have a favorite in it. There's I think Luffy is a really great centerpiece for the show. Luffy's the main character. He's kind of this happy-go-lucky pirate. He is the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates. And he just, like, one, he loves adventure. Two, it's hard to tell him no when, like, he sees an adventure, and he has, like, the best of intent when it comes to just approaching things that are generally adventurous. And in a world where the main conflict is pirates v their natural habitats v the rest of the societal structure of the world, it just kind of, it creates a much more happy-go-lucky approach to the drama that then is created within the adventures. So big recommendation on One Piece. Odie and I think will be recording inevitably an episode about Barbie. We had a really interesting conversation about it. Recently, I don't want to like get too much into that, but we definitely have different opinions of the movie, and for different reasons. So I think it would be interesting to have that discussion, especially since it's such a like centerpiece of culture right now. It's like this it's a hot topic, as I have so often alluded to in this podcast. It's a hot topic potpourri here, baby. That's what we got. This is already longer than I thought it was going to be, so I think I'm going to end it pretty shortly. The only other thing that I wanted to mention was I passed a really interesting mile marker recently. Long before Odie met me, I was an alcoholic, and over the course of the time that I've known them, they have been my friend through some ups and some downs, some pretty big ups and some pretty big downs. One of them, not too long ago, was a really, really, really bad accident that I was involved in, after which I had to say, I need to stop this entirely or I'm going to die. And I had to reconcile with myself, like, what that meant very quickly. And recently I passed 3 years of sobriety, and I just wanted to make sure that I was very open in documenting that. It's a huge marker for someone who had been drinking for over half their life at this point, to pass eventually 3 years of sobriety. And like I said, it was an abrupt stop. I had a really, really, really bad accident and had to just, I had to stop, or I was I'm going to say it again, or I was going to die. But what was interesting was the day before I passed my 3rd year of sobriety, I actually got my license back. Which is, it was very poetic, the timing, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I had scheduled my road test to officially get my license back just a day before my 3rd year of sobriety kicked in. And one thing that I've learned from being sober, and if anybody ever listens to this that needs to be, one thing that I've learned is not only are you still you without a substance that you might be addicted to, whether it's, whether you're just like chronically terminally online, whether you're, addicted to drugs or sex or, I would say, or alcohol, but alcohol is a drug. I don't like that we say drugs and alcohol, because alcohol is a drug. So if you're addicted to drugs or anything like that, you actually are a better version of yourself And I have been for quite some time, and my life has only improved without alcohol in it. That's not to say that other people can't drink. I'm never someone who will go up and grab somebody and tell them that they have to stop. I will make suggestions if someone's in really bad shape, and I have before, and some people that I've suggested stop have stopped and have continued to be sober, and I'm proud of them. But ultimately, I think when it comes to an addiction, as a friend or someone in someone's life, I think making the recommendation comes across better. And a big thing that I've learned, at least from my perspective, is that you have to want to not have whatever it is you're addicted to in your life to stop it. And if you don't want to not have it enough, it will come back. I had actually quit drinking a few times in a row over the course of probably half a decade, never realizing that that was the optimal course of action for me that needed to be a mainstay in my lifestyle. But now that I'm 3 years past it, it seems like a no-brainer. Another thing that I'd really like to highlight is that the first 6 months felt like 3 years. So now that I'm at 3 years and I'm kind of looking at it, it almost feels like 6 months. Like, time has a really funny way of behaving when you're creating a new behavior for yourself. It's really funny the way that you can view how time moves when you're getting rid of something that could kill you, essentially. But for me, like, that first 6 months was really rough. Now every once in a while, I just like to comically remind people that the only thing I really miss is champagne, which is like half a joke, but it's a good way to keep myself in check. Like, yeah, you actually do miss part of that. I do miss champagne, but I don't miss it so much that I would ever give up sobriety, I think, at this point. So yeah, but like I mentioned in our first episode of the season, discipline is a really big thing for me. And I wanted to make sure to take this time to put some gratitude in your week, mention that part of where that discipline has come from is that I'm disciplined with a very necessary part of my life. I've always been a disciplined person. I've always been the type of person who works out 3 to 5 times a week. I've always been the type of person who signs up and shows up for things. I've always been someone who can, like, hold down whatever they want to, right? My willpower when it comes to being determined and getting things done was always there, but there was a critical area of my life where I was letting go of discipline, and that was in, like, just drinking and the way that I wanted to see myself as a, like, functional person who could really party hard. And I've learned over time that actually that part of me was probably, like, the worst part of me. It was the only part of me that ever held me back from doing other things that I was putting all of my discipline into. And now what's really nice is, you know, I'll offer up help to people who are looking for discipline. I have a group of like 15 people now that I text every morning at 5 a.m. They don't always text back. They don't always react to it, but I'm holding myself accountable to get up because I'm also wanting to hold them accountable to get up. They've expressed that they want to have more discipline. You know, I don't think I ever would have gotten to the point where I could be the type of person that I am now, or have the type of relationships that I have now, or have the type of like leadership skills that I have now, if I didn't quit drinking. So that's my other positive message. Just really grateful for Odie. They're probably one of my best friends ever at this point. Like, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, when we get together, we have such a good time. And like Matt Pfeiffer said, our podcast is just one big yes and. And it's because it's very easy for Odie and I to yes and each other. We are each other's yes anders. We're hype men for each other almost. So I'm really looking forward to recording again this upcoming weekend with them. I'm really looking forward to all of the Meg discussion and breaking down pop culture and applying both of our perspectives to things and going back and forth on like what we've seen, what we've read, what we've heard, how we process that, and just delving into a myriad of topics and eventually getting it back into interviewing people, bringing people onto the podcast, and just growing it in all the different ways that we could possibly grow it. I really see a lot of opportunity for us in the near future to have a lot of fun with this and to have a lot of fun with you, the listener. So thank you to everybody who's been listening. We do actually pay attention to it. And if you do leave a comment on the question on Spotify, if you listen to it, I don't know if Apple Podcasts asks, but Spotify will ask, like, was this podcast good? Did you enjoy it? So when you answer that, we do appreciate that. Moving forward, we might start asking people to like communicate with us, maybe ask some questions going forward if Odie wants to do that. I think that would be a good idea. I've said a lot, and I actually train people to say very little. I try to get people away from saying so it's really funny to be sitting here in a room with just me and Loki, the cat, who's sleeping right next to me, saying so much when I train people to not say because they sound more natural and confident when they don't say I actually like to say that every superhero film or every film is a superhero film, and the superpower that every character in every film has is that when they need to, they can say exactly what they mean with no filler. And that is a superpower in my mind. Like, imagine if you could say everything that you meant with no filler. You would be like, there's so many amazing conversations and moments that you would have. It's no wonder films are such a high level of emotional engagement, and can generate so much empathy. But that's it for me this week. So just, that's it. Watch One Piece. If you want to be sober or get rid of something that you're addicted to, get rid of it. Be grateful for the people who are in your life. Be grateful for the things that life puts in front of you. And that's it. Happy Monday. I hope you have a great week, and I can't wait to bring Chef Odie back on next week. Peace.